Since Beyblade Burst X, Beyblade X is right around the corner, I was thinking, what are the possible gimmicks we may have for Beyblade Burst X? Beyblade X. Okay, for a minute, let's just be honest. This is Beyblade Burst, but more like metal fight. But anyway, enough of the complaints. So, if you have been following all these generations of Beyblade, like plastic generation, metal fight, and now burst, you may know that gimmicks are actually repeated. Like we had bearing gimmick in plastic generation, which we also got in metal fight, and then we got in burst. So there are like repeated gimmicks or like use of materials for the tips and attack rings. So using the previous gimmicks, we can try to figure out what are the possible gimmicks for this upcoming generation Beyblade Burst X. Beyblade X. So if you don't know the classifications of the parts in Beyblade Burst, Beyblade X is blade, ratchet and bit. So blade is the main attack ring, ratchet is more like spin track which we had in metal fight, and tip is like bit is like tip, it determines the type and also determines how the Beyblade can burst. Like if it's like how we had drivers like weak spin drivers and strong dash drivers. So it's kind of like that, but it's not using spring. And now, speaking of spring, let's start with the bit gimmicks. So as we were talking about spring, in burst generation we had drivers like nothing, absorbed, and then we had power driver. So in this generation, I don't think bits may have spring driver. Spring gimmick. And here's why I think. The way the bits are, they're like very small for like a spring gimmick. Maybe they can figure it out, but I think possibilities are quite less unless they like modify the bit, because this is just like prototype generation. So they may just modify. They may also like have the fused ratchet and bit, like how we had fused spin tracks and performance chip in 4D system, and how we had like fused disc and drivers in burst generation. So now let's get the obvious ones out. We will definitely have rubber flat, rubber stop or rubber defense, rubber ball. We may have metal shot, metal flat and metal ball. Free spinning tips like eternal shark in metal fight generation. And about bearing, hear me out. I don't think bearing can work for the system. Like they are supposed to grind on those ripcord kind of things on the stadium. So the gears have to grind in that thing. Only then they can boost. So if the bit is bearing, it won't like ride around those ripcord like things, right? I might be wrong in this, but I believe bearing may not work out in this generation. Okay, maybe for stamina types they don't really like go across the thing because they are not aggressive. So maybe they may have bearing tips. But this is too early to judge because they didn't even release it yet. We just got all this information and I'm like making this video. So this is too early to judge. And now let's talk about ratchet. And this is where I think it's really interesting stuffs are. So in the stamina type wizard arrow, we noticed that there is a bay. I don't remember which bay it was, but it was like having contact with the ratchet. So we may have like free spinning ratchets or rubber ratchets, maybe a complete circle ratchet, metal ratchets. These are like the possible stuffs for the ratchet. We can have like an Excalibur bay which has like a sword ratchet, a sword blade. That would be cool. Yo, imagine what if they make like flint versions of ratchets. That would be really cool. Like because Takara Tomy did this in their plastic generation. We didn't have these kind of stuff in metal fight or burst, but now they are taking like an adultish approach, so they may have these things. We also got like sparking launchers, so they still have that idea of the sparks. So there are possibilities of flint ratchets. We may also have ratchets which can change its heights, like CH125, which we can adjust the height, and these ratchets are supposed to depend on their heights to like 40, 80. So those kind of stuff. We can have height changing ratchets. Yo, imagine this bound ratchet, just like how Ace Dragon had its sting disc, bound attack. Okay, bound attack doesn't really work. Maybe bound defense. Why not? And maybe roller defense. Like there was a spin track which had rollers. I don't remember the name. We may also have like metal ball stuff like Zillion Juice and Eternal ED145 something. I don't remember the metal fight stuff that much. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. And whatever I said for ratchet may also work for blades, but I don't think rubber may be that effective when there are like metal contact points. Okay, for spin stealing, yeah, but not for attack. We may have like more changing blades, such as Hell Salamander. Like it switches to like 10 blades to 5 blades. We may also have like Varieties, where the yellow kind of things which is supposed to be sealed pops out mid battle. That would be cool.